Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Meditation Museum.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. And our special guests here, too. Tonight we're broadcasting live on Facebook. So if you'd like, if you could take out your cell phone and share it with your family, friends, and network, that would be really great and appreciated. And for our friends that are watching on Facebook, if you could share it as well, that would be wonderful. Thank you. I noticed today there's a number of new people here for the first time. So just a little background about the Meditation Museum. We're operated by the Brahma Kumaris, which is a worldwide spiritual organization, and we have 9,000 branches in 120 countries. And in this area, we have two. We have this location, Silver Spring, as well as a location in Tysons Corner, Virginia. And Sister Jenna is the director of both locations as well. For tonight, we have a wonderful program with Sister Jenna on keeping inner calm in outer chaos, which will be a very interesting topic to hear. Yeah, we do. And also, Sister Jenna's birthday is coming up, so I just wanted to mention that. Her birthday's her birthday's on the 12th, so you all can remember that and send her some good wishes as well. I've been a student of Sister Jenna's for about 8 years now, and Sister Jenna is one of the kindest people I know, and she teaches just practical spirituality and how it's all about pure intention and about living with purpose, and I really appreciate that. I could go on talking about Sister's bio and all, but you all are probably familiar with her or you've seen it online as well. So now we'll just welcome Sister Jenna. Thank you.
Hey, Antonia, give her a big hand. Woohoo, woohoo. Thank you. Good evening. I feel like I've been sitting here for the last 45 minutes, which I have. They've had me propped up here earlier on from, I think, 5:30. Sound check. Let me see how the camera looks. Are you comfortable? And then I decided I don't want to come down. Right? So glad that you've made it and settled in. I hope you're comfortable in your chair. Temperature's okay? Did you smile with the person next to you, especially the one that you don't know? And say, hey, nice to see you. How are you doing? Glad you made it. How was the traffic? I'm thinking of launching a new initiative for our, about 20 years ago, actually. Former Mayor Anthony Williams had issued a proclamation for June 10th to be a day of peace and the day of known as Dadi Prakashmani, who was my spiritual mentor for many, many years. And every year we initiated a project in the city. And this year, in my early morning meditations, I keep getting this signal to come up with this new initiative called Know Thy Neighbor. And we live out there in Great Falls, and on my block there are only 2 houses. And I sometimes wonder, do you know me? I mean, I know who my neighbors are, because they're big time, and I get packages delivered to my house because of their company. And so I know them, but do they really know me? I know of you, but do you know me? Have you taken the time? What if there's an emergency and I need to call you? I need help. I need some support. So I want to plant that seed tonight. Perhaps this year's initiative for 2019, to know thy neighbor. This year we also gave out a lot of Valentine's Day gifts to all of the folks in our building. Sister Gita gave Christmas holiday cards to everybody in the building, because I said, we need to know each other. We share the same building, and no one has ever come by to say, how are you guys? And so we went to say, how are you? It's almost as if we need this kind of empathy, kindness, life. Sometimes we get so wrapped up into our stories that we don't remember there's somebody next to me who is just as important as I am. Isn't that amazing? Right? So the purpose of you coming to today's discussion must be ringing a tone for you. Sometimes chaos happens here first, or sometimes it happens out here, or sometimes we're witnessing chaos over there, and we're going, I'm glad that's not me. But we can see that chaos is chaos. It seems as if there is no more innocence in that energy. It seems to be falling apart. It seems to be losing energy. And here's the big part about chaos, because it really is a gift. Chaos can sometimes make us feel like we're losing control. Sit for a while and think about that. Control of what? So a lot of times we consider control in the most positive sense, that I'm controlling, I'm taking care of the family, and now nobody's listening to me anymore. Nobody cares about how much energy I'm putting into the home. I feel like nothing is working anymore. So is that particular event or circumstance helping us to recognize, do I need to let go, which is why it's not working? Or is the chaos happening because something inside of me is not together? It's a food for thought. Because we never know unless we meditate and listen deeply about where am I in my story. So here's when I know I'm in a state of chaos. It's as if I can't feel my inner silence. For me, when I feel like I'm either entering the chaotic zone, or for some reason I've become irresponsible to protecting myself, I am in the chaotic zone. I can't feel peaceful inside. And I can hear my tone gets louder. I can feel I'm not vibrating calmness. And I can sense there's irritation in my system. And there's no reason for me to be irritated, especially if everything is working out. And sometimes you find yourself getting irritated at the smallest of things, like, why did you go there? Because I was going there. Haven't you found yourself getting irritated by somebody close to you over the smallest of things? That's a sign. I remember a friend of mine was so upset, not with me, but extended their anger because the butter knife that was placed in the butter was a dirty knife because it was in the jam. And I get that. FYI, I get that, to be very honest. Don't put the jam knife in the nice clean butter. Don't you get that, mothers? It makes the butter very dirty. Anyway, upon my fortune of witnessing the scene, I was able to understand that, yeah, they should have been thoughtful, at least clean the knife before you put it in the butter. But then the spouse of the person was so enraged by the fact that the conversations that came over and over again, you do it all the time. You do it all the time, and I keep telling you, don't put the dirty knife in the butter. There are other people in the house eating it. And of course, it was very thoughtful of the partner to turn to me and say, Sister Jenna, I'm so sorry that, I just lost it in front of you. I shouldn't have. But every time I tell him, don't put the butter in the. And so what was happening is that inside there's so much going on that even something as simple as a butter knife being placed in the butter to get butter created chaos around that breakfast table that morning. So have you ever had those mornings where the alarm clock went off and you're like, okay, I have to get up, and you get out of the bed and go to the bathroom, you do your thing, you freshen up, you go for a cup of coffee, and you're pretty cool, no? You're at peace by then, aren't you? You usually. And then you're getting ready for breakfast, and then, you're getting things together. Some of us take a shower before we cook, like I do. I never cook unless I'm bathed, so the vibrations don't get in the food. And some of us don't, so we're still in the kitchen and we're preparing the food. But then someone comes in the room, or someone comes in the kitchen, and you can see they're frustrated, or they don't eat the food, or the food's getting cold and you made it and you put it on the table, and they have no value for the fact that you sacrificed your half an hour to make breakfast for them, and they walk in there like it was nothing. And you got upset. And a whole bunch of emotions came out of you. And what was once a kitchen to cook food for people to feel healthy has now become a war zone. And it happens. And it happens. That's why I highly recommend that in the morning when you're preparing breakfast, play something inspirational in the mornings. Play something nice music. Don't turn on the news. You're setting your tone for the morning with the wrong energy. Please, don't turn on the news. Whatever happened last night will be rolling over today. You're not going to miss anything. And we will get caught up. If there was a state of emergency, we would hear an alarm that would go very loud, or our cell phones would be signal, there's an alert. You're okay. Unless you have a role to play with what's coming out of the news, and you can pick up a phone and make a change, and you can say you can't do that, or you can say stop that, that's enough playing around. Unless you can make a difference on that day in a very impactful way, then you need to keep paying attention to the news, because you are a change agent in that way. But if you're not, and your change is personal, and then it becomes community in your home, and then it goes out to your workplace, that's another extension of your community, and then it goes out into your city, and then it goes out to your state, then it goes out to your country, then we are change agents, but at a ripple level, which is different. So then I can select what I choose to listen to. There's not a night for the last 6 months I've not gone to bed listening to a very deep class to help me to learn about who I am. And there's not a morning that I have not awakened with the intention and the actual action to listen to the continuation of figuring out who lives in me. Because the amount of energy that you and I take to listen to what's happening on the Hill, to listen to who cheated the government, to listen to who's taken advantage of our tax dollars, to listen to who is doing what and not doing what, if we can put all of that soul energy into that, and it does nothing for us but to feed weakness, then what does that say? I'm adding to my own chaos. So when I see chaos in my world, then I have to check within myself, within my interior world, am I addicted to chaos? And it's a good question to ask, because how many of you grew up watching James Bond or 007? Loved him. And I have grown to ask myself, why? And the answer is, I feel this incarnation is to save the world. That's why. That's it. So then my next thought came and said, well, why didn't you just watch Popeye the Sailor Man? And I'm like, well, it doesn't resonate with my personality. I do love papai, but I don't like spinach. So you see how things will pull you to where you're most interested. If you're interested to chaos, you will turn on the news in the morning. If you're addicted to it. So you have to take a deep breath and check yourself and ask, how does this serve me? How does this choice serve me? Does it add to my calm, or does it add to my chaos? There are two young future leaders in the room. And even though I don't have children physically of my own, in my consciousness is that I think about what are they learning? What's the energy that they are receiving in my house if they were living with me? How do I guide them? It's a big test for parents today. And even if parents were to turn to their parents, we're in a completely different state of living. When I go to my parents or my grandparents, the values, I come from an Indian background and an African background, and I'm raised in the United States of America since the age of 4. Don't ask me how to decode it. But what I do feel is I love everyone. I don't have a choice. I can't love my African side more than my Indian. And I can't love India more than America. And I can't love Jamaica more than America because I've been in them all. So when I turn to my elders to ask them about life, they will tell me stories. That sometimes if you consider yourself to be very special, highly intellectual, hold some masters and PhDs and big degrees, you drive a good car, you wear a good clothes and good suit, but yet you cannot tell the truth. And lying to you has become so normal that you don't even know if you're telling the truth or not anymore. And then you meet a little old lady in the village, and the way she does calculation of her grocery shopping is with little, what do you call those little boards with the balls on it? Okay, and then this is how she will just add. She doesn't have an iPhone. She doesn't have a computer. She went to no college. She went to no school. And you cannot rip that woman off when you go to buy grains in her shop. She knows every penny. And she won't cheat you. And I have seen people with education and with intelligence go and barter and say, oh, come on, take 5 more rupees off now. And actually they have the money to pay that bill. Because they will not even waste a second to go and buy a great outfit for a party to show people I've arrived. And this little lady in the village is just making her living, and you're still trying to do a discount with her. I've turned to those scenes, and I've had many, because I travel internationally with a lot of people, and I just wonder why. So it's important for us to sometimes really look at the real purpose of living. And even though I might be super intelligent and I can manipulate a story, I don't think that's how we're supposed to be. And I think that's creating our chaos. And to be innocent like these two future leaders in the room, where kids tend to just tell you what they feel. But when they're in trouble, you do see their eyes. No, I didn't touch it. And you can see they make the worst liars. Because they're not experienced in lying yet. And you don't want them to become like that. Because you know how that made you feel. It made you unclear. You became confused. And you no longer knew how to tell truth from fiction. But you tried to sort your way through it. And so today's conversation is about getting out of the chaos and trying to find a way in how we can find, just this peace. When's the last time you just felt at peace? With you. So isn't that more valuable than the consistent vortex of chaos and the tsunamis of anxieties and emotions that we're getting so used to? In our Brahma Kumari's spiritual culture, which you must learn about, it's one of the most profound, powerful movements I've ever had the fortune of learning about. But the fact that 80 years ago one man had a profound awakening, and in the process of his awakening, Brahma Baba was his name. Within a year or so he realized, I'm not the one here to do this work. I'm not the one who's going to bring the world together. And for him to be humble enough to say, I'm being signaled that it's women who will change the world. And this is in the 30s in Pakistan. When a man goes to a woman and says, tell me what you want, it's unheard of. Can you imagine the chaos he created? When those wives would go home and tell their husbands they have a mind of their own, and they have a voice of their own, there was a lot of chaos in those days. But in holding the truth within their beings, it started to come back in order. So remember this, and feel free to record the class on your phone if you'd like. Chaos needs no attention. Order does. Chaos needs no attention. Order does. Kids, how many times do you see your room messy? Right, and do you put any attention to it? Nah. Take off your t-shirt, a little bit over here, a little bit over there. And when mom or dad comes in the room, what do they say? Fix that room, right? And then what do you have to do? You have to find energy to put that room back in order. So then you feel like it was just so much easier to make it messy, Ma, versus I have to put energy in. So we're at this point now, in order to get back to calm, I'm going to need to put a little bit of energy in, even if it doesn't feel so comfortable all the time. Are you willing to go on the journey with me? You ready? Sorry. Do you have any questions? Any thoughts that you'd like to ask me before we go into the slideshow? Did I touch anyone's heart tonight? Before I choke half to death? Recently, I found myself in a situation that physically I have no control over it. And it was just having a conversation with one person that I was able to release. I just got the information from the right person at the right time, and I was able to release the fact that I can't control the situation, and it's not about me, and move on. So hopefully tonight something will touch you and you'll go, I get it. I'm going to release myself from that. Chaos. So, keeping your inner calm when there's outside turbulence. A few thoughts. Practice being very present. In the midst of all the stuff that's going on around you, Can you try to be very present, to be right here and now? Have you ever been in a really charged meeting with a group of people and you just said, I'm just going to be here. I'm not going to get involved. I'm not going to let my emotions go there. I can't afford it. But what I usually do is I begin to send good wishes. Because it's as if you're sending these rays and vibrations of good wishes, and whatever might be the vibrations in the room, it's bouncing off because you're sending well wishes. Always remember this word. So 2, I'd like you to keep checking to observe, are there any thoughts that you are getting trapped into? For example, the chaos is happening, but now is my thought identifying, oh my God, what did they just do? Why did they do that? Oh, they do it all the time. And when you find your thoughts going there, it's like a fish has bitten your bait. It's as if it's just grabbed onto your bait and it's got you. Always remember that. When you send your thoughts where they don't need to go, you're going to get caught. So that means when you go into the affairs of other people's drama, even if they're trying to direct their drama towards you, you still have a choice to decide, I'm not going to take that bait. Let me stay right where I am, here, with me. Because you have to be discerning to decide if what they're saying or doing is about you or is it about them. You have to determine that for yourself. They can't determine that for you, because at the moment there's a lot going on in them. And perhaps you won't be able to help at the moment when you get hooked. It'll be just 2 folks fighting on a wire, you know. So ask yourself, why is the thought that's coming, if you happen to have your thoughts that have gone out, and you feel like you're getting hooked into the drama that's happening, the chaos that's taking place, ask, why is this thought so important? It is so important that it is making you lose your calm. Have you ever thought about that? So about 2 weeks ago, before I went to Florida, I take care of some folks, and there's somebody that I respect and value tremendously, and they've been going through a rough time. And as a result of their rough time, I'm also on the receiving end of that. So one day we were by the car and they did something, and I can honestly tell you, and I wasn't born this way. It developed as a result of Raj Yoga teachings. I could see myself losing my calm so clearly. And I was really agitated. And then the person turns to me totally at peace with themselves. Right? Like, what's the matter with you, Jen? I never see you like this. You should say sorry. And I was like, I am not ready to say sorry. Because until I can forgive myself for losing what's so important to me, how can I tell you sorry? So while I'm in the car and I'm driving, you know the conversation, you know those looks, you know all those things you go through when you're just in your reflection, and I'm like, what is happening to you? It had nothing to do with them. Got it? This is the power of meditation. It had nothing to do with their behavior. What is happening with you? Where are you going with this? And what I came to realize is I wanted to act the role of God and somehow change that person. And that wasn't my business. I needed them to behave in a different way. I need them to get their acts together. And my wanting to act like God is of no use to me. It's a blasphemy. That's not what God would do. God wouldn't change someone. God would love someone. despite however they are. And at that moment, I wasn't love. So then once I figured out what I was going through, I worked it out. And when I said my apologies, I actually meant it. Aren't you proud of me? I was. So I actually really meant when I said, I'm so sorry I've not become powerful enough to help you. And that was my apology to the person. So when you're doing your work and you begin to value the treasures of love and empathy and kindness and purity and truth and self-worth and self-respect, you become more in tune with the way you show up in everything that you do and with everyone. So you have to check, why was that thought so important to pull you away from your peace, from your calm? And are you giving that power away? Because nobody takes your happiness. You give it up. Nobody takes your joy or your respect. You give it up. So is it a person? Is it a money issue? Is it a health issue? Whatever it is, where is that thought stuck? We have to identify it, because it is one of the seeds that's growing my chaos. And you have to have the awareness to identify it, because if you're not aware of where your seed is planting, that is creating your chaos, then you won't be able to change anything. Okay? Everything that we're going through is happening within our beings, the soul. The soul functions like a car functions. You press the gas, it goes forward. You press the brake, it stops. You put the gear stick in drive, in neutral, in reverse. It follows wherever you put it, whatever you direct it to. So the soul has a direction. You are looking at me through your eyes, and it is the soul that is seeing me. It's not your eyes. Food for thought on that one, right? Hold that thought for a little bit. You hold up a camera, it's not the camera that's going to take your picture. It's the camera person using the camera. You drive a car, it's not the car that's going to get to your destination. It's the driver in the car. Your soul is seeing me through your eyes. And it's your soul that is understanding what's going on right now. So in the soul, you have a mind, an intellect, and your sanskaras. You have thoughts that come on the screen of your mind. A lot of people say when they meditate, their minds are all over the place. It's not happening in your mind. It's actually your intellect is being troubled by the thoughts in your mind, and your intellect cannot be focused or straight. So you might say your intellect is all over the place because the energy of the thoughts from your mind are so powerful, I can't control myself. But what a meditator does is that when I see my thoughts are all over the place, I go, you stop that right now, and you sit here with me. And then the thought goes, oh, she means business today. So that's when you start to develop that innate power, that when you do feel that you're going into the storm, you then have to decide, I don't either want to go there, or I'm going to board up my windows so it doesn't come and affect my feelings or emotions. So your mind houses your thoughts, your intellect makes your choices, and as a result of your thoughts and your decisions, you create who you become. How many of you read Michelle Obama's Becoming book? So she always says we're still in the process of becoming. That means we're still making choices. We're still having thoughts, and I could have a thought tomorrow that can change my destiny forever. and I could be a completely different person than I am right now. So whatever thoughts you have, think about this. Whatever decisions you make as a result of that thought makes you who you are today. That means we're all changeable. That means we're all changeable. That means if I don't like the thoughts that I'm having, then I have to change that. So that means if chaos is around me, then I can choose to go, that's not mine. Internally, I'm going to be okay. That's not my world. My department is falling apart. I don't like it. It's not about that, but I want to fix it. But then I get into all the anxiety, all the hell, and all the argument. And then everybody on the floor hates me. And then before I know it, I am no longer at peace. And so my department is still not at peace. Another way of looking at it. My department is falling apart. What can I do? Can I talk to some people in my area that we can work on this together? Is there a way that we can try to find a compromise? Is there something that we're missing? There's a different tone and a different thought you will catch when you come from a place of peace than from a place of chaos. God is a good energy, and if throughout the day you promise yourself that your shadow will be your good, that's your God. Then if you can try to bring this energy into the way you see people, into what you choose to listen, to catch yourself when you're about to say snarky remarks, when you're about to look at somebody with the roll eyes. You like that one? You know, I've caught myself doing it lately, and I go, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be born in the next birth with beautiful eyes. So I have to catch myself, because all the actions that you perform in your lifetime today will carry a vibration in future lives, if you believe in that. If you think, I don't know what that sister just said, because after this I'm going back up there, right? Then that's fine. But still, let's carry some good vibrations up there, right? So however you look at it, my recommendation is to think about even your physical features, your physical environment. How do you want your future fortune to look like? So they always say people with beautiful eyes were always benevolent. I know, right? So that's why I wasn't born with pretty eyes, right? So what happens is that you start to check yourself and you go, if I keep creating, what's this nice one? One sister, she rolls her eyes and then her nostrils open up. And I go, I don't think that's going to be a good birth for your future every time I see her, because I can see the vision and I go, I'm getting a vision of you, you're not. So the thing is, we do these things so easily, they just slip through us, and we're not aware that we're taking out the good in our energy. We're not aware. And so pay attention to these little things that you do. Instead of judging someone, can you empathize with them a little more? Try. And you'll find that the moment you're judging them, you like, ugh. You just come back a little, you breathe. You go, I want some beautiful lives here. Let me empathize. They must have had it rough to be the way that they are. But that's not me. You see, like, you've got to keep remembering that. So let this energy of love and peace and benevolence keep flowing through you. And it's going to take a lot of attention. Can I honestly tell you, it's not difficult what I'm telling you to do. It's only difficult when you have to do it always. You get that word? Oh, I can do it, Sister Jenna, but always? So there's a universal law that's existing. God didn't make it. Man didn't make it. It's the nature of the universe. It's the law of cause and effect. It's karma. So you and I are not aware that we're energy driven. And however I feel as a person, that's going to come back to me, whether I like it or not. That means if I am loving, but I don't feel the love is coming back to me, can you at least be patient, please? I remembered the other day, it was about 3 years ago or something, I was telling some of the sisters and the brothers, I went, when is our big break going to happen? And we laughed at each other when that came out of my mouth. And she says, your big break happens every day because you are awake. I was like, yeah, bigger than that. And then you catch yourself and you go, there's nothing bigger than being awake. So you see what I'm saying? You have to keep catching yourself, right? You've got to keep paying attention to you, because we're growing to know ourselves more. And if we just listen and we just pay a little bit more attention, we will become very confident about being the good about ourselves. We will bring the good, and we will understand the law of cause and effect. So you do become whatever you think, do, and say. Are you ready to celebrate that? You do become whatever you think, do, and say. I don't know, I get the Ouija's when I say that to myself, because I go, I know I'm a good person, but... You ever had that but? Well, I did have a waste thought. Well, I could have been better over here. And so the thought is, did that waste thought, what's the consequence of that in my life? You see, chaos feeds from waste. See? And so if I have a lot of waste, negative, unnecessary thoughts, it feeds into chaos. So the fact that I was doing it at a subtle level, and I wasn't beating up anyone, I wasn't yelling at anyone, I just think, I don't know what's wrong with everyone. What's their problem? I'm a nice person. But I didn't calculate the fact that every day you came into the office, I was like, oh God, it's her again. Or every day I saw my spouse or my husband, ugh. Why are the wives doing that? Or when I turn on the news, I'm feeding that energy. You get it? So you see how subtle it is? Pay attention to what you're thinking, and you will begin to curtail the chaos around you. So our chaos is due to karma. If I'm not taking care of my interior world, it will fall apart. And when it falls apart, there will be confusion and chaos. So remember, the sanskars, your personality, all the things that you decide to do makes you who you are. That storage place known as your personality or your sanskar is what you're becoming. Your storage place of what you're becoming holds all of your experiences. That means if you're feeling a lot of joy and power, you are a wonder person. And if you're feeling confused, uncertain, I'm not sure, there are questions about my future, I don't know, that's being recorded. So take a breath. Think about you. At this moment, are you feeding chaos or calm? You're feeding calm. What's going to be the return of that? More calm. Now, what might happen when you go home tonight and you start to yell at somebody close to you? You're like, what happened to my calm? It is still there. However, you have to feed it more. That's all. I'm not trying to set you up for when you go home, by the way. And if you want, you can send vibrations of peace to the house right now, so that before you walk in, the peace welcomes you at the door. Got it? Send those vibrations of peace right now. All right. So your sanskars will signal to you where you are inside, how you're feeling, what's going on. And it will help you to get back to your true place if you use it in the right way. Most important virtue to use to keep yourself at peace with yourself, be honest. So what, I messed up. So what, I yelled at you. So what, I wasn't my best. I get that. That honesty will get you back to calm. Now, even when you mess up and you're irritated and you're very angry with the person and you blame them and you're not honest with how you're feeling, guess what? It adds to your chaos because you're not being honest with yourself. And dishonesty feeds chaos. Anyone who's dishonest lives in a very chaotic vortex. And they're constantly in fear. And they don't sleep very well at night. Because of that interior work on the self is not being done. Okay? So it's okay if we mess up, but it's not okay if I'm not honest with that I did. So the way that I can do it is that it's okay that I messed up, and I'm honest that I've recognized I made a boo-boo. Can we talk about it? And you'll be at peace. Okay? So the great disruptor is the algae. It's an acronym I use in all of my talks. A for anger, L for lust, G for greed, A for attachment, E for ego. That's what's creating the chaos inside of our own beings and inside of our world. You think that the chaos is coming from government, from politics, from religion, from my job or my boss. The chaos is coming from the recording of the algae experience in the soul. If you can get rid of algae, you will not have chaos. If algae still remains, chaos will find you. If you're a peaceful person, no matter what I do to you, you're going to ask, can I help you? What can I get for you? You seem to be disturbed. If you're a loving person, even if I can't be kind to you, you would look at me with such empathy and you would pray for me and you would bless me because you're not that. So there is a guru, no? And this guru was up on the mountain and he was in deep, deep meditation. And while he was in deep, deep meditation, his disciple was next to him. And the disciple notices a scorpion. And the disciple is like trying to wake the guru up out of his deep meditation. He goes, well, if I wake up the guru, he might get upset with me, or I shouldn't disturb the guru, because in Indian culture, you never disturb someone in tapasya, in meditation. It's not right. So he's noticing that scorpion is crawling on the leg of the guru. And he notices that the guru is aware of it. But he doesn't even just do one of that, like, right? He's just letting the scorpion crawl over him. And finally the scorpion stings the guru. And the guru just... He opens his eyes from the meditation, and the disciple looks at the guru and goes, Master, I don't understand. You knew the scorpion was on you. Why didn't you just brush it off? He said, I was in tapasya. I'm in meditation. The role of the scorpion is to sting. He was playing his part. I was playing my part. I was like, okay, I would have still shoved off the scorpion, right? Even though I would consider myself a meditator. But the thing is, it made sense. Like, know yourself. Why are you getting bothered by the chaos from other people? Do you not know who you are? Does that make sense? So your deepest inner thinking, those thoughts that you want no one to know what's really inside of you, those are your deep sanskaras, those thoughts that keep saying, I'm not worthy, it's disrupting the soul from being calm and adding chaos. Be honest, check yourself. Is there something that you are in denial of? And it's gently feeding your chaos. And tonight, if you could just write a letter and let your conscience know what you're scared of accepting and release it, your chaos will be less. You'll feel a great sense of freedom. And can I tell you what I've come to learn after my many years in service and serving the lives of thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people around the world? Everyone is sorting out what they need to for themselves. Everyone's got an issue. And that's okay, but that's not their full story. I think the issue is that we focus so much on the negative that we forget all the things that we can celebrate. To me, that has been the issue. Bad things are going to happen, but so are good things. So it's like, where do I feed my energy? Understand? So try to work on where you need to feed those thoughts and find out what that thought is. So if you are in the calm, you will face the self completely with and accept all the good, the bad, and the ugly in the self with the fortitude to keep guiding your thoughts to remember the true nature of the soul. The true nature of the soul is calm, is peace. So resentment, separation, hate, fear, anxiety, insecurity, even those energies, when you say them, don't you feel yucky? Right? Hate you, jealous, can't stand her, da-da, da-da. All of that is just like, what is it doing to my system, right? So all of these deep-rooted sanskars will distract you from really being at the best place within your being. And when you feed that energy, you lose your peace. So in today's session, I'm inviting you, and from the teachings of Raj Yoga, stop. Just stop. If you had a child and you told your child, stop. You ever had a puppy and you told the dog, stop, stop. That's how we have to tell our mind, stop. Why are you jealous of her? Don't you think you have as much, or what you think that she has had? Where however she's made it, it's hers. Wait your turn. Do your good. It will find you. Why are you resenting him or her? It will find you. Whatever are your good deeds, they will not go unnoticed. They will surface at the right time. All right, so let go and breathe. Love what is. One of the most important things that we can do for ourselves tonight to get into calm and get over our chaos, please forgive what you just couldn't change. It's a big thing. Please forgive what you just couldn't change. Let that sink in. Because a lot of us are carrying the energy of what we're still not able to let go of in here. I made a blunder, I made a mistake. They made a blunder, they made a mistake. I couldn't change it. Accept that whatever's going on in the drama is accurate, as much as I might not like the movie. But there'll always be another scene coming up soon. So, a few steps to take. Breathe deeply a lot. As much as you can, take deep breaths. But also in the morning, 30 minutes every morning, try to wake up with just dedicating 30 minutes of silence. And do it in a loving space. Try to go back to being as if you're 1 year old again. And you're just innocent. Look at the person next to you as if they're 1 year old right now and see how you feel. Go. Exactly. Exactly. Didn't that feel sweet? When's the last time you looked at an adult like they were 1 year old? Hey! Versus looking at them, you know what you did to me, right? So you see the two energies? I will never forgive you for what you've done to me. The other one, I'm going to be able to forgive you because you're like a child. It's like a baby. It's just like you see them from that place and you can feel how your energy changes, you see. So try to sit in loving silence for 30 minutes in the morning. Practice it every day and be very consistent. You will see dramatic changes in your soul. Second, listen for your list to emerge. Because of sitting in loving silence, you will get a signal of the day. What is your priority? What are the important issues that are about to be addressed? What needs to be addressed? It'll come up. Because once you get all that chaos out of the way, your truth will start to come up. And when you get into that practice and that glide, life just flows for you. You're not waiting for life to happen. It just is. Okay? So just wait for those thoughts to emerge so they signal to you what's going to happen. Pay attention to your thoughts, words, and actions. Remember TWA airline? I know they went down, but don't worry. But thoughts, words, and actions so that there will not be tension. Check your body language as well. Keep witnessing yourself. Keep being sitting in the 10th row of an audience looking in at yourself. How are you doing? Check what you're doing. How do you put your clothes on? How do you comb your hair? How do you brush your teeth? Just check. Is it... or, like, you want to put peace in everything that you're doing. You've got to start to practice these behaviors if the shift is going to happen, because we've become so wired for chaotic patterns that until I can shift that energy, it's just not easy. And it won't be just because we spend an hour and a half together it's going to get shifted. For the moment it is. But that's why you have to pay attention to the small things that you're doing. Highly recommend. Don't worry about the big steps to take yet. Just do the small things. They'll be a definite change. Dictate your thoughts or write down what your best thoughts are. It's always refreshing when you can pick up your phone and remember something that you remembered about you, something that you believe very much about a higher part of you, a vision, a goal, a belief system. Say something with affirmation for you. Write down those things. Write them down. And in the middle of the day, when it's 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock and you turn to it, you're going to be like, oh, that felt good. Has somebody who you really love ever called you in the middle of the day and just said, I was thinking of you and you just felt better? Okay, let that call come from you. Every hour on the hour, we practice in the Brahma Kumaris traffic control. So we have an app called Traffic Control. It's on an app store and it's for free. And it chimes every hour on the hour, like ding. And it just reminds you, go beyond your issues and your stories and go back into your peace. Bless everyone. And then come back to your action. You do that every hour and hour. By the end of the night, you're going to feel like a different person when you put your head on your pillow. All right, create your own private mantra. It can change for just one whole day. Just create one word for you. You can be, I'm a happy soul, I'm a happy soul, I'm a happy soul, I'm a happy soul. When you're free and you're not intellectually working, I'm a happy soul. I am a happy soul. I am one happy soul. And then you start to feel like how your whole being starts to believe it. So this is how you have to start to retrain your remembrance, okay? So choose one. If you're happy, you're peaceful, you're well. I told somebody today, I was in meditation and I got the signal that this is what you must write 16,108 times today. I am well. I am well. I am well. She didn't. But I still have hope for her tomorrow. She'll just keep writing, I'm well. You see, that's the thing. We're getting the cure, but we don't take the medicine. You see? We've got to take the medicine if we want to feel the cure. All right, that's it. Thank you. Do you have any thoughts or questions that you'd like to raise? I hope it was eye-opening for you today. I like when you sit in that inner reflective state, because you're thinking is what that energy says. It's that I don't want to come out because what you've offered is valuable. And I just want to sit in solitude with it and sort it through. If you want to redo what I shared, you can get it on the YouTube link on Meditation Museum, and you can play it over in the morning when you're on your way to work. And just listen again, just as a confirmation. You can play it when you go to bed tonight. What were the steps that Sister Jenna said again? How do I do this? This is real easy. I can't begin to tell you how easy this is. It's only difficult when you have to do it always. So since the difficulty is the always part, let me put that to later. But at least let me just start now, since it's so easy. So thank you so much. We'll close off with a lovely meditation to end the night. It'll be an early night for us. We did great. What a nice day today, huh? Perfect. And of course, you know, on behalf of all of us here, our hearts are always welcome to have you pop in anytime you want. If you're passing by, sometimes just stop for 15 minutes. You'd be surprised of the difference it'll make when you sit in the quiet room. So thanks a lot, and I think Antonia has a few announcements, and then we'll close off with a meditation and some gifts.
Good job. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us this evening. And let's give Sister another hand for a lovely talk. Saturday, we have a workshop here from 1:30 to 3, and it's called Tired of Being Tired. And you'll find information on our website about it. And Sunday at our Tyson's Corner location, we have a workshop on finding peace in a noisy world. And that will be from 11:30 to 1. And we also have a special youth program on Sunday at Tyson's Corner for ages 9 to 14. And that starts 1:30 to 3 o'clock. So please visit our website for information on those events, as well as all our other upcoming events, too. Sister Jenna has a new CD out called Your Inner World, and we have download cards available at the reception desk where you can download the entire CD. And we also have a special on Sister Jenna's other two CDs, The Inclusion Revolution and Off the Grid Into the Heart. And you can get those at reception. You get both of them for only $10.99. So we have that available. And we also have a 50% off book sale in the back. So please stop by and check out a lot of the good deals there. It's all about personal development books. So you'll find some specials there. And now we'll have a meditation. And after that, if you could come up row by row, Sister Jenna will give you a blessing card as well as a sweet. And thank you again for coming. We hope to see you soon.
A mother